Good morning, America. Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. If you're in the Northeast, we're thinking about you right now with that nor'easter and New Jersey being hit with roughly 35 or so inches of snow over the course of the last several hours, on average 2 to 3 inches per hour. So we're watching that story very closely as Washington, D.C. getting some of that. But I have my sweater on today. It was nice and warm over the weekend down south. Well, that changed rather quickly with this cold front hitting the eastern United States as President Trump to host an Angel Families Remembrance gathering and ceremony at the White House. And it was 2 years ago to the day yesterday that we lost a gorgeous human being, Laken Riley, both inside and outside, as she was a 22-year-old student at the University of Georgia, and a nursing student who was attacked and murdered while jogging. And just a terrible situation to see there, officially at Augusta University, but there with friends at the University of Georgia. Her body was found in Oconee Forest Park near Lake Herrick. Her death was caused by a blunt trauma force. A terrible situation. Think about being outside with all of the sunshine in the early to mid-afternoon. You don't think something like that will happen, and it was because of an open border and lawlessness from the last administration. And we know that justice is coming for her 26-year-old Venezuelan perpetrator who was convicted on all counts, including felony murder, malice murder, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, and intent to rape and kidnapping. A horrible case where you had the district attorney there, instead of allowing for options where the witnesses would not feel even more pain, they then testified. The housemates, the family members, the victim impact statements, which were actually absolutely brutal to listen to. So our thoughts and prayers, just one of the most terrible cases and heinous situations, these Angel families, all they have gone through over the course of the Biden years, which led to illegal criminal alien crime. So we'll bring that to you at the top of the hour there at the White House. On a much lighter note and a much happier note, yesterday, 46 years ago to the day, the Miracle on Ice, the 1980 team beat those Soviets, the amateurs and the ragtag group of college players on the ice in Lake Placid, New York. And the 2 gold medals happening on the North American continent and within the United States of America, that now overseas to Milan, Italy, where our team of professionals and young NHL hockey players really made a massive difference in overtime against our Canadian friends just north of the border, as Jack Hughes winning that overtime goal, 24 years young. 2 of his teeth knocked out and plenty of dental surgery forthcoming earlier on in that game. Just ecstatic about how much he loves America and how proud he is to be an American. In addition to that, FBI Director Kash Patel partying it up with the guys afterwards, and the gentleman on the phone with President Trump as he gave a last-minute invitation to the State of the Union. So be sure to tune in prime time tomorrow night, Tuesday, here at your election integrity headquarters, your go-to live desk and your rally network for prime time State of the Union. Be sure to tune in for that, as we might be seeing the men's hockey team that had to go en route to Miami, Florida to get away from that storm that was coming in with that nor'easter all the way from Italy. And they said, Don, if we can call you Don, please send us the plane down in Miami, Florida. And President Trump responded, well, the good thing about being president of the United States, regardless of storms and weather, we'll get through about anything and we'll get there on time. So we'll make sure we can have you there for the State of the Union. So we might have some special guests there come tomorrow evening. And now that focus, the State of the Union, having a preview with that, number 19, Mr. Producer. So many successes happening over the course of 13 months plus in office, about 13 months and 4 days or some change. And this president focused on countless different issues, including these previews.
Trump just brought peace to the Middle East. He's already racked up 8 peace deals, trillions of dollars of investments and trade deals.
We have $18 trillion invested in this country. Nobody's ever had anything like it.
This is history in the making. No one else but President Donald Trump could do this. This is what peace through strength gets you. This is what a respected United States will bring around the world. It is a stabilizing force.
And we're reestablishing deterrence, whether that's at the border, whether it's through Golden Dome, what happened with Midnight Hammer and what Iran found out, those drug boats, and of course the Houthis opening up the shipping lanes. American strength is back on the world stage.
The world is back to looking at America as the leader. We have the peace through strength doctrine. We have the hostages at home. We are respected again. We are not seen as weak. Our adversaries know that they are to be on watch, and our allies know that we are there for them.
People know Donald Trump is going to do what he says he is going to do, whether it is Cuba, Iran, and Venezuelans.
We're witnessing a historic presidential legacy being written in real time. The only question now is, how big?
Living history in the front row as we thank our sponsors here on the right side of history, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, RSBN10. That's the code for 10% off of life-saving medications. From antibiotics to antivirals, hydrochloroquine, methylene plus, ivermectin, NAD plus, as well as mebendazole, emergency medical kits, 300 plus emergency items for you, and life-saving medications, off-label generics that you can actually use. And with the storms that once again hit the Northeast just yesterday into today, and severe weather that's slowing down travel in New Jersey alone, there roughly 60 counties are going to have no one on the road until midnight, at least when it comes to commercial driving. So disrupting all of these deliveries and travel and more, and access to care. Many Americans being reminded how important preparation really is. Imagine already having a flu medication kit at home, or a few months of your blood pressure medication if you do need it on hand, so you don't have to scramble last minute. Now, All Family Pharmacy helps to make that possible. Now, how do they do that? When there's no red tape, there's no bureaucracy. You don't even need insurance. So how do they get this to you? Well, you send in that prescription note, and that order is reviewed by a licensed doctor right here in the United States, looks over all of that, can write the prescription himself if needed. And again, no waiting rooms, no urgent care lines that can be so backed up this time of year. They offer antibiotics, antivirals, again, ivermectin, mebendazole, hydrochloroquine, NAD+, methylene blue, and those emergency medical kits that you can travel with. All off-label, all generic, and sometimes those pharmacies down the street, those big names, the big corporate entities, they simply don't even prescribe these. So you might as well jump into what makes sense. And this is all about convenience, but also being prepared, something that we often sometimes skip. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN for all of your needs there. And RSBN 10, that's the code for 10% off. So scan the QR code today. We are very happy to introduce as well, once again, Birch Gold. Diversify your IRA or 401k. The dollar is going down. We know this to be true. So text Trump to 989898. Very easy to remember, and diversify your savings with gold. International disputes, inflation, again, a weakening dollar, rising national debt, even digital currency, all these opportunities, but threats to the savings and what you worked hard for. There's a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700%. Yes, 700% in the last 20 years. A never-ending list is reasons why smart Americans decide to choose gold to diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals, and Birch Gold leading the way on this. More than any other commodity on earth, gold thrives when uncertainty happens in the market, especially with the dollar. And this is why it's crucial for a part of a balanced strategy for your savings, for your IRA, your 401k, as well as seeing if holding gold is a tax shelter retirement account right for you today. Just text the word Trump to the number 989898, and then you could receive your info kit free in the mail on gold. No obligation, just useful information. This has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers right there at Birch Gold. As the dollar's going down, diversify your savings with tangible, solid metals like gold. Text Trump to 989898. Get started right there and diversify your IRA and your 401k income. As we go back to the news of the day and President Trump to host Angel Families at the top of the hour. We've had several on this show over the course of the last couple of years, from the campaign trail in 2024 to the off year last year, and Fundner being a somewhat regular guest here, and the loss of her son on the hearts and minds of countless people. And again, Laken Riley has been on the hearts and minds of Georgians, to Rachel Morin and Miss Nungary as well. It's almost hard to say because of the loss of life that's taken place over the course of the last 4 years. And because a Biden administration literally opened a border. As the last State of the Union happened, the president said, you did not need an act of Congress. You did not need legislation. You simply needed a new president. And that's why the vice president, J.D. Vance, was so thrilled by that line, because he had been in the United States Senate. He had spoken on it just the other night at the governor's dinner, almost in envy, as he said, of governors, because they get to make those crucial decisions. Vice president, senators, they can hide behind those things. But in that moment, the vice president knew, because he worked so hard in the Senate versus a Biden administration that did open that border, that all this situation needed, specifically with immigration and Title VIII enforcement, was a new president. So there's a lot of themes that will be happening tomorrow night with this speech, and President Trump hitting hard on a number of those, including lowering health care costs for the American people, a main priority of this administration. With cut number 20, Mr. Producer, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Dr. Oz, also the team there at HHS, really working hard to make sure not only right to try and most favored nation status happens, but that Americans should pay the same amount for a pill as it's priced out in places like London, England, or Rome, Italy, all the way to Moscow, Russia, and the industrialized world. It's common sense, and in most cases, you have the same exact drug that's much more expensive right here at home because of unforeseen regulations and bureaucracy. So with cut number 20, this administration working hard for those big pharma reforms.
President Trump, he was encouraging Congress this week to pass his newly unveiled health care plan. It's aimed at slashing costs for you and includes increased funding for rural areas as part of the big, beautiful bill.
It will create more competition, more transparency. It will expand health savings accounts for all Americans and send money to health savings accounts instead of to big insurance companies.
And Trump sent letters to 17 of the world's biggest prescription drug makers last week, calling on them to reduce prices on some products to much lower levels. The president wants these companies to provide the most favored nation drug pricing for Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial customers.
Under this policy, drug makers would have to basically index some of their medications to the lowest drug price in these comparative countries.
The president said enough global freeloading. We should not be paying 3 times more for the exact same medication in the same box, made in the same factories.
Moments ago, President Trump launched Trump RX.
It allows you to bypass the middlemen of healthcare and purchase drugs directly from those who make these drugs. This is healthcare reform. If you want to see prices come down by 80-90%, not 1 or 2%, then this is the path we've got to go. Nobody was bold enough and had the fortitude to take it on until President Trump.
Thank you to mypillow.com/RSBN. And we love Mike Lindell here at the network. Of course, the great CEO of MyPillow, but also running for governor of Minnesota. The mattress and topper sale as low as $99.99 plus free shipping on your entire order right now. MyPillow.com/RSBN. It's 800-836-7566 for over 2,000 products right there at MyPillow.com/RSBN. Save with code RSBN. Again, as low as $99.99 on the mattress and topper sale. Some of my personal favorites, the My Slippers, the My Coffee, also the Giza Dream Sheets, everything made right here in America with products domestically and internationally forged into truly things that will make your night even better and to have a more bright morning. It is MyPillow.com/RSBN. Of course, the original MyPillow 1.0. It changed my sleep patterns. I'm a big fan and love getting to see Mike Lindell on a regular basis. He's quite a patriot, fighting for election integrity and the American ethos that we're celebrating in this 250 years of a country. The mattress and topper sale now as low as $99.99 plus free shipping. 800-836-7566. MyPillow.com/RSBN. Thank you to Mike Lindell and his amazing staff up there in Minnesota, as we are your go-to election integrity headquarters here in 2026. Also, your real desk, your live desk, your true news here as a new media effort to bring you unbridled access to your 45th and 47th President of the United States, the 50th Vice President, and the 119th Congress. Of course, don't miss out on the First Lady, who is a movie star, and of course, our Second Lady, who's expecting her fourth child. We're very excited for everything to come in this golden era of America. Support us right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, rsbnetwork.com/donate, or text RSBN to 801-801. If you'd like to send a check or money order in, so important, please, because we are going on the road to be, once again, your go-to rally network, as we did just that last Thursday in Rome, Georgia. 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344. The loveliest village on the plains, that is Auburn, Alabama. 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. Thank you for supporting us here on the right side of history. Also, right now, wallet.rumble.com. Download that not only for yourself to protect your digital assets, but you can use that Bitcoin and Tether Gold to donate to content creators and us truly right here on the right side of history. So thank you so much for your support and your financial dollars. It means so much more than you know as we continue to cover the right side of history. As we get towards the bottom of the hour, at the top of the hour, President Trump to host angel families in a remembrance ceremony. And we will be there at the White House on a very snowy day in the nation's capital. And let not your heart be troubled, as it's very sunny but cold down here in East Alabama. So we are watching those cold temperatures. We pray that that's the last bit of nasty weather, as Puxatawny Phil just weeks ago predicted 6 more weeks of winter. Now we're at that 3-week mark. Let's hope it stays that way, as you are all, I'm sure, planning your spring break plans just around the corner. The Board of Peace, one of the newly instituted and minted projects of President Donald Trump, attracting 45 nations thus far, and mostly Arab nations in the Middle East, places that have seen generations of warfare coming together with traditional enemies, all highlighted by 8 conflicts that this president has stopped within the second term. And really the gold standard 4 years later now, that Russian-Ukrainian conflict, God willing, comes to an end as a result of this. Some disappointing news: the Vatican decided to not be part of this and will instead continue on the UN's efforts, to quote them. But what's interesting about it is the UN tends to be on the wrong side of human rights issues and tends to not follow through on a number of different peace items. And you might disagree with that, but I believe the proof is in the pudding over the course of the last couple of decades, and really since World War II, where they have dropped the ball on that, and this Board of Peace really filling a massive vacuum in Washington, D.C., and throughout capitals around the world. But President Trump meeting with world leaders and peace delegations at the end of last week with cut number 21.
Today is a tremendous honor to welcome you all to the United States Institute of Peace for the inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace. So I want to thank the many leaders and dignitaries who have traveled great distances and lengths for the important gathering that we're at right now. This meeting today is proof with determined leadership nothing is impossible. We're providing a model for how responsible sovereign nations can cooperate to take responsibility for confronting problems in their own regions. Together we can achieve the dream of bringing lasting harmony to a region tortured by centuries of war. And hopefully we can lift up the eyes of the world to envision how other intractable conflicts can be settled. So I want to thank everybody for being here. You're my friends. You're great leaders.
And on the backdrop of that very successful meeting at the end of last week, the MAGA Minute, back with the press secretary, the superstar Caroline Leavitt, as she was on hand for that Board of Peace meeting, as well as the vice president and the secretary of state, who have all led the way with the Peace Through Strength agenda, something so crucial in the second term of the Trump White House. And with the MAGA Minute, it's good to trust in Trump, especially the many issues you may have missed in the last several weeks. And instead of just a minute, it's more of 2.5 minutes to highlight all of the successes leading to the State of the Union and our primetime coverage tomorrow night with cut number 22, Mr. Producer.
It's been a minute since we released a MAGA Minute, so here we are, and let's get to it. This week, the Trump administration was hard at work delivering for you. President Trump hosted the inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace, with member nations announcing more than $7 billion for the reconstruction of Gaza. President Trump also traveled to Rome, Georgia, where he delivered remarks at Coosa Steel Manufacturing Facility and stopped by the Varsity Restaurant. He participated in a working breakfast with governors at the White House and hosted a Black History Month reception at the White House as well. The president wrapped up this week by giving a press conference to discuss the outright irresponsible IEEPA ruling from the Supreme Court and outline the legal authority to continue with tariffs. Remember, people, trust in Trump. The president announced FEMA intervention to help resolve the Potomac River sewage spill amid incompetent state and local leadership. CBS News reported this week that the average tax refund is nearly 11% higher so far for Americans this year. Mortgage rates have fallen to their lowest level since 2022. That was announced this week. And in addition, jobless claims fell by the most since November. U.S. industrial production saw its largest increase in nearly a year, and the president announced $10 million in funding for the economic recovery effort following the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. President Trump's Homeland Security Task Force made more than 500 arrests, seized more than 1,000 pounds of narcotics, and identified 257 victims of human trafficking in the month of January as part of its effort to combat human trafficking. President Trump finalized a trade agreement with Indonesia, which will provide you, the American people, with unprecedented market access. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio gave a landmark address at the Munich Security Conference. The administration also released its Maritime Action Plan to revive our U.S. shipbuilding industry. And very excitingly, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is beginning the process of identifying government files related to alien life. Stay tuned. The U.S. Commission of Fine Arts approved the president's White House ballroom design, and First Lady Melania Trump donated her 2025 inaugural gown to the Smithsonian Institute. Make sure you tune in to the president's State of the Union speech next Tuesday. You won't want to miss it, and we'll catch you at the end of next week for another MAGA Minute.
Thank you to angelpace.com. It's the miracle out of Spring, Texas, right off the Gulf of America. Christian-owned. They hire veterans, and they have that vitamin B miracle cream that I use every day. Also the orange option. Great for this time of year, as it infuses vitamin C qualities, which will help with collagen and just help you get over the cold and flu season, something that is hitting most Americans, that flu season being pretty nasty this time of year. They also have a natural facial spray, a great gift for guys and gals alike. Experience the miracle and all of their wonderful products at angelpace.com. Plus, they're great patriots, so a wonderful company to support for all of your beauty needs. And also Rumble Wallet. Thank you to this extraordinary free speech platform. And now they're diving into financial freedom, something we're all seeking. Send and receive Bitcoin, the Tether Gold, and also all of your crypto online with Google Play, the App Store. Also, you could donate to great content creators and RSBN right here on the right side of history. You may have seen the conversations happening online, censorship taking place all over, including in this day and age, even dating back to 2020 when we saw all of those lockdowns. But platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see, and we need to fight back peacefully and patriotically. Rumble is the only company that has stood up for those rights, as definitely, and in those difficult times, especially dating back to 2020 when it was really rather a scary time, deplatforming. Remember President Trump, the whole point of getting onto Truth Social, it's because he was thrown off of Facebook and Twitter. But on one side, Rumble challenging big tech censorship, but now the other side having introduced something that can protect your finances, because big banks can cancel our accounts. They can freeze our cards. So that's why they launched Rumble Wallet. Go to wallet.rumble.com so that no one can cancel your assets, your finances, and what you would like to donate to. With Rumble Wallet, you control the money. It's not a bank. It's not a government. Not even Rumble can break into this wallet and shut down your finances and all of your options. You could buy it and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold all in one place. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping in those currencies right there online, including right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. So visit Google Play, the App Store. Free speech meets financial freedom. It's the Rumble Wallet at rumble.wallet.com. As we are covering the latest from the Trump White House, the top of the hour, the president hosting angel families in a remembrance ceremony, as our thoughts and prayers are constantly and continuously with those who suffered so much at the hands of a radical extreme administration under Otto Penn and Alejandro Mayorkas, who opened the southern border from 2021 to 2025. It's hard to comprehend, and that's why law and order matters in this country. And there will be a massive theme tomorrow night, most likely, for that State of the Union speech at 9 o'clock Eastern in the prime time tomorrow night on Tuesday on Capitol Hill in the House chamber. And cut number 23, the White House forecasting that law and order so crucial to having a constitutional republic.
Today is a tremendous honor to welcome you all to the United States Institute of Peace for the...
Here comes President Donald Trump to change the narrative back to law and order. The contrast between the Democrats and the Trump GOP on law and order couldn't be clearer.
This is the first president in my lifetime who has taken law and order and safety and security as seriously as he has.
For the first time in over 30 years, Washington, D.C. went 21 days without a single homicide. This promising start to the new year comes after 2025 saw the city's lowest homicide rate in nearly a decade, and it's all part of the president's effort to make D.C. safe again.
And it's one of the big things that propelled him back into the White House, because they know he's a president who's going to bring law and order. He's going to back up our law enforcement. He's going to make people feel safe and secure again. And that's exactly what he's delivering on.
And President Trump focused on the American economy. And the fact is that IEPA and that ruling last week was rather ridiculous by the Supreme Court, imposing a temporary import duty to address fundamental international payment problems. The president, in response to that Supreme Court ruling of 6-3, has decided to protect the American economy and national interest. President Trump signing a proclamation imposing a temporary import duty to address fundamental international payments problems by continuing the administration's work to rebalance our trade relationships to benefit American workers, farmers, and manufacturers. President Trump invoking his authority under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, empowering the president to address certain fundamental international payment problems through surcharges and other special import restrictions. By taking action, the United States can stem the outflow of its dollars to foreign producers and incentivize the return of domestic production. By increasing its domestic production, the United States can correct its balance of payments deficit, while also creating a good-paying job core and lowering costs for consumers. Now, the proclamation imposes, for a period of 150 days, a 10% ad valorem import duty on articles imported into the United States. So it's tax on other nations. The temporary import duty will take effect beginning tomorrow, February 24th, at 12:01 Eastern Standard Time. So hours from now. Some goods will not be subject to the temporary import duty because of the needs of the United States economy, or in order to ensure that the duty is more effectively addressing the fundamental international payments problems facing the United States, including certain critical minerals, metals used in currency and bullion, energy and energy products, natural resources, fertilizers that cannot be grown, mined, or otherwise produced in the United States, or grown, mined, or otherwise produced in sufficient quantities to meet domestic demand. Certain agricultural products, including beef, tomatoes, and oranges, pharmaceuticals and pharmaceutical products, also certain electronics, passenger vehicles, certain light trucks, vehicles, buses, and certain parts of the passenger vehicles, light trucks, and heavy-duty vehicles and buses. Certain aerospace products and informational materials, donations, and accompanied baggages. In addition to the following goods, will not be subject to the temporary import duty that has now been increased to 15%. All articles and parts of articles that currently are or later have become subject to Section 232 actions, the USMCA compliant goods of Canada and Mexico, and textiles and apparel articles that enter duty-free as a good of Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, under the Dominican Republic Central America Free Trade Agreement. Now, in a separate executive order, President Trump also reaffirmed and continued the suspension of duty-free de minimis treatment for low-value shipment, including goods shipped through the international postal system, which will also be subject to the temporary import duty imposed under Section 122. So the end of last week, those actions taken by the President of the United States addressing and directing the Office of the United States Trade Representative under Jamieson Greer to use its Section 301 authority to investigate certain unreasonable and discriminatory acts, policies, and practices that burden or restrict United States commerce. Thank you to our sponsors here on the right side of history, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Code RSBN10 for 10% off now of antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, methylene blue, NAD+, and much, much, much more, including emergency medical kits and Tamiflu. Please, please, please get that Tamiflu as cold and flu season continues. You don't want to get caught stuck in these severe storms like we've been seeing over the last few hours, especially with that nor'easter affecting the Northeast United States. It even got super cold right here in the great state of Alabama and throughout the Southeast. So choose freedom, choose the right pharmacy. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, changing the ball game for most favored nation status, the right to try and off-label generics. Again, you don't need the red tape and the bureaucracy. In fact, you don't need insurance. Only a pharmaceutical note and a U.S. licensed doctor reviews your order on the other end, sending it right back to your door. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, convenient for those who want that timely order and it delivered right to your door. So quite nice to have this option, and it truly is in the name. It's all about family, and it's all about convenience right there at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Code RSBN10. Don't get caught unprepared. Sometimes that happens, and you don't want to miss out when the storms of life hit, literally and figuratively speaking. Again, antibiotics, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, NAD+, methylene blue, and emergency medical kits, Tamiflu, antivirals, so much more. 300+ emergency medications and life-saving medications for you and yours at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. And that's code RSBN10 for 10% off right now. Go ahead and scan that QR code there for all of those savings. Also, we would like to thank here on the right side of history that wonderful Birch Gold. We love them so much. It's texting Trump to 989898. And right there, you can diversify your IRA, your 401k immediately. And with the dollar going down, we've seen so much of this happen with 700%. Yes, 700%. That's how much gold has gone up over the course of the last several years. And we've had experts on to speak on this, but with international disputes, inflation, the rising cost of living, what are you to do with all of your assets, including the national debt, digital currency, and so much happening in the economy, both here domestically, internationally, worldwide. Gold rising 700% in the last 20 years. So what are you to do when all of that chaos is out there? Diversify your savings with gold. With a never-ending list of reasons, smart Americans do just that with precious metals from Birch Gold Group. More than any other commodity on earth, gold thrives during uncertainty, especially when it comes to a failing dollar. And this is a crucial part of a balanced strategy, giving you peace of mind when these things happen. See if holding gold is a tax-sheltered retirement option for you and your family today. So many options to go through. I think many people think outside of this that it's one size fits all, and that's simply not the case. So be sure to diversify, again, your IRA or your 401k with gold. Just text Trump to 989898. Again, text Trump to 989898. Diversify with precious metals and your savings with gold from the best in the business, Birch Gold Group. Thank you for sponsoring us on the right side of history. As we'll dive in now to some more posts from President Trump on Truth Social as we await scheduled 15 minutes from now, President Trump to host the Angel families in a remembrance ceremony there on a snowy late February day at the White House. Cut number 1, SCOTUS is in big trouble. The Supreme Court will be using lowercase letters for a while based on a complete lack of respect of the United States accidentally and unwittingly giving me, as President of the United States, far more powers and strength than I had prior to their ridiculous, dumb, and very intentionally divisive ruling. For one thing, I can use licenses to do absolutely terrible things to foreign countries, especially those countries that have been ripping us off for many decades, but incomprehensibly, according to the ruling, can't change them or charge them a license fee. But all licenses charge fees. Why can't the United States do so? You do a license to get a fee. The opinion doesn't explain that, but I know the answer. The court has also approved all other tariffs, of which there are many. and they can all be used in a much more powerful and obnoxious way with legal certainty than the tariffs as initially used. Our incompetent Supreme Court did a great job for the wrong people, and for that, they should be ashamed of themselves, but not the great three. The next thing you know, they will rule in favor of China and others who are making an absolute fortune on birthright citizenship by saying the 14th Amendment was not written to take care of the babies of slaves, which it was proven by the exact timing of its construction, filing, and ratification, which perfectly coincided with the end of the Civil War. How much better can you do than that? But this Supreme Court will find a way to come to the wrong conclusion, one that, again, will make China and various other nations happy and rich. Let our Supreme Court keep making decisions that are so bad and deleterious to the future of our nation. I have a job to do. Make America great again. Signed their President Donald J. Trump. And if we have time in this hour, we'll go through some of that ruling as well as the great opinions by Justice Thomas and Justice Kavanaugh, who really provided a roadblock for the president through other means, as we covered somewhat earlier in Section 232 and 122, to use the trade office and the Secretary of the Treasury, so Jamieson Greer and Scott Bessent, to continue those tariffs now worldwide at roughly 15%. But did you know, with that wonderful victory again yesterday on George Washington's birthday, the father of our nation, and the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice against the Soviets, we took down another communist nation, our friends up north, the Canadians, as they booed and jeered the national anthem just months ago at an NHL battle. Well, President Trump also took to the ice to celebrate and take down our foes to the north with cut number 2. And for the fake news out there, as President Trump mentioned over the weekend at the governor's dinner, that's called parody. Although I did not know the president had such smooth moves on the ice. Again, congratulations to our men's hockey team, our women's hockey team as well, both beating the 51st state for gold. And I think that's what might just have to happen now. Canada, welcome to the United States of America. The bald eagle will always defeat the Canadian goose. We're very proud to be Americans always, but especially after massive victories at the Winter Olympics. Thank you to all familypharmacy.com/RSBN for those life-saving medications. It's code RSBN10 for 10% off right now. It's antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, NAD+, methylene blue, emergency medical kits, and that Tamiflu, so important for this time of year with cold and flu season. Also, the amazing thing about this, it's convenience that really fits into the schedule for allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN and yours, with no red tape, no bureaucracy, no urgent care lines. Be prepared as travel and winter storms slowing down what could be a very easy trip to the pharmacy down the street, but also that pharmacy might not even prescribe these life-saving essential medications. So be sure to visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Let me take you through the process where they do not care if you have insurance or not. It's no red tape and it's no bureaucracy. It's simply a pharmaceutical note licensed by a U.S. licensed doctor and prescribed right there, reviewing that order sent right back to your door. When the storms hit in life, as we saw with the nor'easter just last night into many hours throughout today, be sure to visit allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, code RSBN10, 10% off now of these life-saving medications, antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, mebendazole, hydrochloroquine, NAD+, methylene blue, and also emergency medical kits that you can travel with as well. So highly recommended here, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. And also the miracle that is angelpaste.com. We love the miracle cream. That is the vitamin B infused, non-GMO, no chemicals. Also the orange option, vitamin C, non-GMO, no chemicals. They're at angelpaste.com. They also have a natural facial spray. So experience that miracle that is angelpaste.com. We love them so much here at the network, and they're based out of Spring, Texas, Christian-owned. They hire veterans, and they do love this country all the way down there off of the Gulf of America. Thank you for the miracle that is angelpaste.com. As we cover the latest from the Trump White House, this country is winning with cut number 3, and President Trump declaring victory not only over these amazing Olympics, but our country. We're winning too much. It's just not fair. President DJT. But this is true. The most gold medals at the Olympics with cut number 4. The president proclaiming that that is the case. The most gold medals ever won by Team USA at the Olympics. President DJT. Now it's second in the medals overall as Norway just dominates these Winter Olympics in that Nordic nation. But really an impressive showing. We're very proud of our athletes, especially Miss Lou in the freestyle skating. If you have not seen the hashtag Lou Better Than Goo with Miss Eileen Gu, who defected from the United States, a San Francisco-born native, to skate for the Chinese Communist Party, we will always choose Lou over Gu as United States hockey with an amazing win yesterday. Hope you saw that before church. It really threw off my day a bit, but I had to watch it because it was truly the miracle on ice part 2 with the Golden Jet, which amazing Jack Hughes goal in overtime. Cut number 5. President Trump congratulating United States hockey on a great victory. They won the gold. Wow. Signed by the president. Kash Patel, the FBI director, celebrating with some beers and champagne and a phone call with President Trump. And they asked, "Can we call you Don?" And he said, "Of course." And the president promising the team to, if they'd like to be, guests of the State of the Union. So we might see them tomorrow night. But they said, "Mr. President, because of that storm, you have to come get us in Miami." So we might have all of that happening tomorrow. Stand by for breaking news if we get the U.S. men's hockey team there for the State of the Union. Now, some more dire news with cut number 6, that Illinois Obama Library, which looks like Eastern Europe in the Soviet Union. Illinois spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to bail out Obama's badly delayed and tremendously over budget library. The neighborhood is angry as hell. It's a total disaster. And it's removed Section 8 housing. It's removed other Chicago projects. And it's really not working out too well for low-income Chicagoans or even the middle class there along the lakefront. But we know that Barack Hussein Obama, one of the most self-serving narcissists who has ever served in the office of President of the United States, and that will be quite the library to study communism over the next few years. So I look forward to the visit if they ever get it done. But to the sad reality, it's Illinois taxpayers who will fund the bill with that. Did you know that the last Republican governor, who was a lightweight in his own right, Bruce Rauner, $38 billion left for the people of Illinois. Now under Pritzker in that time, roughly $240 billion in debt, 450,000 Illinoisans leaving under J.B. Pritzker, including yours truly, for greener pastures, and Nearly 5,000 Chicagoans murdered under the tenure of Brandon Johnson and the jelly bean, J.B. Pritzker. It's really pathetic, but very sad. That's the mold of what not to do in America. As we saw so many other successes over the weekends, the governor's visiting President Trump there at the White House. In fact, President Trump pledging that mercy ship to Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry with cut number 7. That will be heading up to Greenland, the work they're doing to help the people of Greenland. As President Trump stated, working with the fantastic governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, we are going to send a great hospital boat to Greenland to take care of the many people who are sick and not being taken care of there. It's on the way, President DJT. As a new banner at the Department of Justice just popping up to showcase America 250, but perhaps it is a warning to those who would be making lawfare in the federal city, or perhaps lawfare going after those Virginia parents, if we can remember, under the last attorney general, who decided to investigate those who were simply peacefully praying outside of abortion clinics or protesting what was happening in transgender relations at their kids' school board meetings. Yes, the FBI harassing those people back under the Biden DOJ. President Trump sending a message there in Washington, D.C., and it seems to have some reporters upset with cut number 8.
Banner bearing President Trump's face that just went up here at the Justice Department. If you've been in Washington in recent months, you've seen similar ones at the Department of Labor or the Department of Agriculture, for example. But this one seems to strike a different chord, given it's the Department of Justice. Historically, administrations have tried to stress a level of independence between the West Wing and the White House and their Justice Department, arguing that politics doesn't influence who is being prosecuted. But it's safe to say that line has been erased since President Trump has taken office in his second term. We've seen him directly pressure the Attorney General to prosecute people who he perceives as his political enemies or people who have led prosecutions against him. The Justice Department says this banner is in honor of America's upcoming 250th birthday celebration. But if you look at this banner closely, it also echoes what President Trump himself has said, talking about the slogan, "Make America Safe Again."
Thank you to our sponsors here on the right side of history. It's Rumble Wallet. This is very exciting to see as free speech meets financial freedom. Send and receive your Bitcoin, Tether Gold, other online currencies. You can download that there at Google Play and the App Store. So to run through some details of this, you may have seen the conversations happening online lately and censorship back, and it's happening everywhere. Platforms controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see. We have to fight back peacefully and patriotically. Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech. On the other side, your financial freedom and making sure you have protection from the big banks who can shut us off. So that's why they launched Rumble Wallet. A wallet that no one can cancel, a wallet that supporters can use instantly to support their favorite content creators and the new media, like places here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. They cut out the middlemen, and that's what matters most for your financial choices, does it not? With Rumble Wallet, you control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not even Rumble can hack in and break into this wallet. It's yours, only yours. You protect you and your family with wallet.rumble.com. You could buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tethercoin all in one place. So it's nice and easy to organize as well. Not only a wallet to buy and save, but think of your personal piggy bank that's impenetrable. It's quite an amazing tipping system and quite an amazing way to trade currency online. Support this show, support other creators. We'd love that here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, where there will be no fees when you tip the channel and others, so we can actually receive the tip in its entirety. Such a wonderful gift from Rumble at wallet.rumble.com. Free speech meeting financial freedom. Go visit the Google Play Store or the App Store for that today. Also, thank you to mypillow.com/RSBN. The mattress and topper sale as low as $99.99 plus free shipping. Promo code RSBN, easy to remember. So call today. Do not delay. It's 800-836-7566. Support Mike Lindell and Right Side Broadcasting Network. Shop now at mypillow.com/RSBN and save with code RSBN. Easy to do with a great CEO, the master marketer himself, Mike Lindell, now running for governor of the great state of Minnesota. That's where his manufacturing facilities are. He has a wonderful team, really good people, and what a great guy. I mean, from his life story to election integrity and now wanting to make a difference in his home state, perhaps no better person to support. And also, you have 2,000 different options at mypillow.com/RSBN. Again, I've belabored it, but my favorites happen to be those My Slippers. I love to wear them. I love the My Coffee as well to start my day. My Pillow 1.0 and those Giza Dream Sheets, really fantastic there at mypillow.com/RSBN. As this hour will be a tough one, POTUS to host the Angel family's Remembrance ceremony. The pain never leaves them. And 2 years ago to the day yesterday, we lost that wonderful nursing student at the University of Georgia, Laken Riley, out for a jog on the afternoon. And the victim impact statements were horrible. Her roommates all testifying to it, who will truly have PTSD as a result of even going on a jog alone. They'll always remember their friend. And one of her friends who said she was like a sister to her, stating that I should have not studied for that test. I should have been there with her. It's the kind of grief that they're going through right now. And it's a terrible thing to live through. And we've interviewed countless people, including Ann Fundner, who's lost her son to fentanyl overdose. And this administration working overtime to save those lives and to stop illegal, criminal, alien activity in this country. This is something that Republicans and Democrats should agree upon. And we were fortunate enough to interview Congressman Mike Collins last week in Rome, Georgia, running for the United States Senate in the Peach State, who authored that Laken Riley Act, which was signed early on by the president just last year in the first term. Before we take you to that, we're going through True Social and some of the president's posts over the course of the last couple of days and several hours with a new endorsement and cut number 9, as he needs that legislative support from the House of Representatives. President Trump redacting and retracting, I should say, an endorsement based on the lack of support, in particular for the unbelievably successful tariffs imposed on foreign countries and companies, which has made America richer, stronger, bigger, and better than ever before. I am hereby withdrawing my endorsement of Rhino Congressman Jeff Hurd of Colorado's 3rd District and fully endorsing highly respected patriot Hope Scheppelman to take his place in Congress. Now, Congressman Hurd is one of a small number of legislators who have let me down and our country down. He is more interested in protecting foreign countries that have been ripping us off for decades than he is in the United States of America. Taking back an endorsement is a difficult decision for me. I've only done it once before with a former congressman named Mo Brooks right here from Alabama, who was leading by 54 points after my endorsement for U.S. Senate. And then he unexpectedly, for strictly political reasons, changed his views on the rigged election of 2020 and lost his race in a landslide to Katie Britt, who I endorsed. These are the decisions that must be made, however, to make America great again. On the other hand, Hope Scheppelman is a distinguished critical care nurse practitioner and a brave United States Navy veteran who knows the America First policies required and will do everything necessary to defend our country, support our military and veterans, and ensure peace through strength. Now, in Congress, Hope will work tirelessly to grow our economy, cut taxes and regulations, advocate for our amazing farmers and ranchers, promote Made in the USA, champion American energy dominance, safeguard our elections, keep our borders secure, stop migrant crime, and defend our always under siege Second Amendment. Hope Scheppelman has my complete and total endorsement to be the next representative for Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. And unlike Rhino Jeff Hurd, Hope will never let you down. So we look forward to that campaign way out there in the Rocky Mountain High, West Colorado, as President Trump also getting involved in a slew of Senate district races for the state Senate in the crossroads of America there in Indiana. And this we could rapid fire, Mr. Producer, with number 10 through 15. And we'll pop up where it shows where President Trump's endorsement becomes involved with cut number 10. You can see how it just jumps the other direction. With Brenda Wilson there over Greg Good. And these are challengers to these incumbents, where Republican primary polling shows how different it is if the president endorses in these races. There's Senate District 41, Michelle Davis over Greg Walker as well. This is almost a complete 180 in nearly all of these races with Republican primary polling. Even in these down ballot races, this is all over the redistricting, of course, that certain Senate and representatives there in the crossroads of Indiana decided to go against common sense and their own party. And it's not even a party issue, as we can see there with Jeff Ellington going way over his opponents there with the Trump endorsement in Senate District 39. But it's common sense to push back against what happened with California and the redistricting there, and with countless different maps being redistricted, whether legally or arguably illegally. We know in Texas that was done legally in the Lone Star State. And again, there's Senate District 23, Paula Koppenheiver over Spencer Decree, really just completely upending the gentleman's campaign as these rhinos and these establishment figures decided that they did not want to save the country. With a 218-213 majority, razor thin right now, we need Republicans in Congress. Tracy Powell over Jim Buck in Senate District 21. And it continues with several different graphs here in this Republican primary polling, with Blake Fleischer over Travis Holdman. So some major races there. In fact, 5 races that could completely flip thanks to the incompetence of sitting Indiana Republican senators. But their challengers, America First and MAGA, want to make sure that Congress is portraying the will of the American people. Not only of those legal voters, and ideally if we pass the Save America Act, we could just save these elections and save 2028 ahead of time, but also in response to North Carolina, Texas, and California for various reasons, just some of the states who have completely redrawn their maps. Now, Virginia really pushing for that as well, as they've pushed such far left legislation with supermajorities, and also their new governor, Abigail Spanberger. President Trump also putting his faith and trust into the Lone Star State leadership in Texas with cut number 17, and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is there leading the way on not only religious liberty, but also a strong and secure border. In Texas, with 40 congressional districts now, people moving there for countless different opportunities in entertainment, tech, also the oil and gas industry, just to name a few. President Trump stating, "I am proud to endorse Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick for re-election as Texas chair of our presidential campaigns in 2016, 2020, and 2024. Dan has been an incredible friend to our movement, helping us win big in the primaries and general elections. In the next term, Dan will fight tirelessly alongside us to secure our border, stop migrant crime, grow the economy, cut taxes and regulations, champion school choice, support our great military and veterans, restore American energy dominance, and strongly protect our always under siege Second Amendment. Dan Patrick has my complete and total endorsement. He will never let you down," including Greg Abbott at the top of the ticket, the Texas governor, once again being endorsed by President Trump, and they're with him at the head table, and his lovely First Lady of Texas next to our movie star First Lady Melania Trump at the governor's dinner on Saturday night. And with cut number 18, President Trump stating that Greg Abbott is the strong and highly respected governor of Texas, a state I love and won big 3 times, including with a 6.4 million votes in 2024, the most votes in history by far. Thanks to Greg's bold and effective leadership, the wonderful people of Texas will have the opportunity to elect 5 new MAGA Republicans in the 2026 midterm elections. With the passage of their new fair and much improved congressional map, a big win for Republicans in the Lone Star State and across the country. As governor, Greg is also fighting tirelessly to champion Texas values, grow the economy, cut taxes and regulations, support our amazing farmers and ranchers, advance made in the USA, unleash American energy dominance, protect school choice, keep our now very secure border secure, stop migrant crime, murderers and other criminals from illegally entering our country, ensure law and order, protecting our brave military veterans and law enforcement, and of course, defending our always under siege Second Amendment. Greg Abbott has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He is an exceptional governor, and man, he will never let you down. There from the President of the United States. As we thank our sponsors here on the right side of history, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, code RSBN10 right now. Scan that QR code there for antibiotics, antivirals, NAD+, ivermectin, mebendazole, methylene blue, hydrochloroquine, and much, much more. Emergency medical kits and 300+ medications that you can have there stored right in your medicine cabinet or take on the road with you for your spring break travels. Also, really stock up on the Tamiflu as travel and deliveries can get more and more difficult with these storms. We've seen them so much throughout the winter, including overnight and throughout the rest of the day today, especially in New Jersey and throughout the Northeast. Almost 40 inches of snow expected to total New Jersey specifically. So that's 2 to 3 inches per hour. So when that happens, the storms of life, literally and figuratively speaking, are you prepared? Do you have enough blood pressure medication? Do you have emergency medical kits? Do you have Tamiflu on hand? Because dealing with a cold or flu, the last thing you want to do is go outside and struggle in the urgent care lines to go to the pharmacies that may not even have these on hand, and then you're just left disappointed and in more pain. Well, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN not only allows you to choose that right to try and most favored nation status, but also to choose the right pharmacy and choose freedom ultimately with no red tape and no bureaucracy. Simply ordering online, you do not need insurance. These are off-label generics that are brought right to your door. So it's also extraordinarily convenient. So it's only a pharmaceutical note, a reviewed order by a U.S. licensed doctor, again, going right to your door there at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. And that's code RSBN10. Scan that QR code there now. Also, if you'd like to donate to your go-to live desk, Rally Network, and your election integrity headquarters for the 2026 midterm, support us right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, rsbnetwork.com/donate. Also, text RSBN to 801-801. There's also a address for check and money order, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344. It's the loveliest village on the plains. It's Auburn, Alabama, 36830. And be sure to tune in tomorrow night for the State of the Union primetime coverage. As we'll take a quick commercial break, stick with us, the president, to host the Angel families at the White House in moments. We'll see you back on the other side.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can scan that QR code now, RSBN10. That is the code, easy to remember, for 10% off. This is ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, antibiotics that will save you and yours from bacterial and viral infections, NAD+, and much, much more. 200 essential medications and emergency medical kits, the meds you trust delivered to your door.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. What are you to do? Well, text Trump to 989898, the dollar going down. Diversify your IRA or 401k with a free info kit right there at Birch Gold. And that's great because it's free, no obligation, but it gives you a roadmap to deal with all of these issues as the reasons are never ending. A list that grows and grows, gold going up over 700% in its value in the last 20 years. And this never ending list is a number of reasons why smart Americans turn to Birch Gold, the best in the business, to diversify precious metals. More than any other commodity on earth, gold thrives during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind given all of the events that could impact the United States economy. See if holding gold and precious metals is in your portfolio. See if holding it in a tax-sheltered portfolio might be good for you and your family. One size does not fit all, so Birch Gold will work directly with you. In fact, they are the best in the business to do so. So just text Trump to 989898 and diversify your IRA or 401k at Birch Gold. Again, text Trump to 989898, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating right there at Birch Gold. Thank you for sponsoring us here on the right side of history, as we are up against an imminent warning and we'll begin shortly. We'll toss quickly to cut number 19 and a preview of the event tomorrow. The President of the United States to present the State of the Union from the House Chamber in the prime time at 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll be live at 8 Eastern, so be sure to tune in for that. Here is a preview of tomorrow's speech.
The Middle East has already racked up 8 peace deals, trillions of dollars of investments and trade deals.
We have $18 trillion invested in this country. Nobody's ever had anything like it.
This is history in the making. No one else but President Donald Trump could do this. This is what peace through strength gets you. This is what a respected United States will bring around the world. It is a stabilizing force.
And we're reestablishing deterrence, whether that's at the border, whether it's through Golden Dome, what happened with Midnight Hammer and what Iran found out, those drug boats, and of course the Houthis opening up the shipping lanes. American strength is back on the world stage.
The world is back to looking looking at America as the leader. We have the peace through strength doctrine. We have the hostages at home. We are respected again. We are not seen as weak. Our adversaries know that they are to be on watch, and our allies know that we are there for them.
People know Donald Trump is going to do what he says he is going to do, whether it is Cuba, Iran, and Venezuelans.
We're witnessing a historic presidential legacy being written in real time. The only question now is, how big?
Now, the United States facing international payment problems, in particular a large and serious balance of payments deficit. This coming from the White House as the president to host angel families in a remembrance ceremony moments from now. We'll take you there live to the White House. As a result of its loss of domestic production, the United States must import much of what it consumes, sending United States dollars out of our own economy and overseas. A measurement for the U.S. balance of payments is the current account, which tracks the three ways a country can make money: selling goods and services overseas, or the trade and balances of good and services, returning on investment of labor, or the balance on primary income and voluntary transfers like remittances, or the balance on secondary income. The United States not only runs an overall current account deficit, but also a deficit in each component of the current account. The annual United States good trade deficit exploded by over 40% during the Biden administration, reaching $1.2 trillion in 2024. Now, in that same year, for the first time in more than 60 years, the United States made less on the capital and labor if deployed abroad than foreigners made on the capital and labor they deployed in the United States. At present, more money is transferred out of the United States through remittances than money is transferred in. So the situation there getting worse, and perhaps President Trump to highlight this in the State of the Union. Back in 2024, the United States maintained a current account deficit of negative 4.0% of gross domestic product, otherwise known as the GDP, almost double the current amount deficit of approximately negative 2.0% that prevailed between 2013 and 2019, much larger than 2019 to 2024. As a share of GDP, the 2024 current account deficit represented the budget and its annual current account deficit since 2008. So compounding these challenges in the economy, a decline in the United States net international investment position. Again, by the end of the auto pen, the United States net international investment position was $26 trillion, which was 89% of the United States GDP. This means that if all of the obligations to foreigners that the United States has incurred were to come due today, and even if all of the foreign assets that the United States owns could be instantly deployed as payment, the United States would still end up needing to make payments equal to 89% of its annual economic output in order to meet its obligations. Now, this represents the most negative net international investment position of any country on earth. So if left unaddressed, these fundamental international payment problems can, among other things, endanger the ability of the United States to finance its spending, erode investor confidence in the economy, distress the financial markets, and endanger United States economic and national security. So the continuing to utilize tariffs under Section 232 and Sections 122 will protect U.S. interests in lieu of the 6-3 Supreme Court decision that was really extraordinary, given the fact that Congress has allowed the president to pursue these taxes on international nations and to also be the leader in foreign policy, according to Article 2. So that's why it made it such an interesting decision. That's why I would behoove you to read Justice Thomas and Justice Kavanaugh. There are clear roadmaps to how the president can handle this authority and also the history of tariffs in America. Now, tariffs will continue to be critical as a tool for President Trump To protect American businesses and workers, reshoring domestic production, lowering costs, and raising wages. In fact, we were in Coosa Steel at Rome, Georgia, just on Thursday. It was all made in America. American steel in that production facility, with countless people to enjoy a speech from the president right before this untimely ruling by the Supreme Court in a disappointing decision back on Friday that undermines global trading and the authority of the president of the United States. And most experts agree on this as we're going to the White House now for the Angel Family event.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much. It's a big day. Very important day for me. Should be important for everybody, including the media. But they don't really cover it fairly, I will tell you that. It's shocking. Please sit down. Thank you. We gathered here today for a truly solemn occasion. Throughout this hall, I am joined by heartbroken Americans who have lost parents, siblings, children, grandchildren, and treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration led in by the past administration. Millions and millions of people from jails, millions and millions of people from countries that we don't want to know about. Drug dealers, murderers, 11,888 murderers were allowed into our country by the Biden administration. These are the angel families that we love, that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored, and I've seen it. When I first got involved with the angel families, I had a meeting. It was so sad. And they got up and spoke, and the media literally just turned off the cameras. They didn't want to hear them. It was my first glimpse as to what was happening. These are sick people that cover stories like that, or that don't cover them, which is worse. Everyone in this room not only suffered an infinite loss, they were the victims of politicians who put the comfort of foreign criminals before the safety of American citizens and American patriots. Their stories were censored and suppressed like maybe almost never before, so that the politicians could open our borders and allow our nation to be invaded. If we didn't win the election, our nation would right now be destroyed. But under the Trump administration, their suffering is forgotten no longer. In just a few moments, I officially sign a proclamation that I've been waiting to sign for a long time, including my first administration. There were so many different legal roadblocks, it was incredible. But we got it done, and I'm doing it today. February 22nd is going to be National Angel Family Day. Very important. So many incredible family members and friends, parents and children. On February 22nd, 2 years ago, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Hope Riley went out for a run on a college campus in Georgia. Laken was viciously attacked, brutally beaten and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who the last administration heartlessly released into our country. No problems. Let them in. They let in everybody. They didn't check anybody. They let in everybody. Among the first bills I signed into law after taking office last year was the Laken Riley Act. I'm so proud of it. To ensure illegal alien criminals are rapidly removed from the United States of America, if that's okay with the media. That bill has already been really playing a big role in the life of our country. It's resulted in over 21,000 illegal alien arrests, 21,000. We're joined this morning by Laken's parents, who I have gotten to know. These are incredible people. And I want to ask Laken's mother, Allison, to please come forward and say a few words, please. Hi, Allison.
Well, this is unexpected, but I think that a lot of people feel like that President Trump is maybe different than the version I've gotten to know. And I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Laken. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job that most people just wouldn't do. And I just can't thank you enough. There are just not enough words to say. Because if you lived the nightmare that we have lived, you understand the importance of the job that he's doing and securing our nation and fighting for our families. Because this could be any family. This happened to my family. This could be any one of your families. And Laken was the most responsible, hardworking, kind, selfless, beautiful Christian. And she wasn't somebody that put herself in bad positions. She didn't make bad choices. She was just a good girl. And she just wanted to go for a run that morning after she'd gotten up at 4 o'clock the morning before to decorate her roommate's door for her birthday. And she did everything for everyone else. She expected nothing in return. She just wanted to be a good friend and a good sister and a good daughter and a hardworking nurse. She was working so hard for. And I'm beyond blessed and thankful that you're honoring not just Laken, because she's one in a ton of people that have suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. She's not the only one. And so thank you for honoring all of them, not just Laken. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you very much. It's amazing, Allison. You have to go through this. Doesn't get that much easier, does it? Right? Even with time. It's been a while now, and it doesn't get that much easier. But I want to thank you for your incredible courage. We're all courageous in a sense. Everybody in this room is courageous. And we're willing to tell the story, and that I don't know why the news doesn't want to hear it. The Democrats don't want to hear it. The radical left, they don't want to hear it. What's not to hear? We want to stop murderers and criminals from coming into our country. I watched the mayor of Minneapolis. I watched these people saying, we want to protect murderers. I don't get it. Something's sick. They're sick. Can't have a country like that. So we appreciate the bravery of everybody in this room, actually. And Christy, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Tom in particular for, we have a border that's 100% closed now. 100%. So Laken's story is even more tragic because her death was completely preventable. This shouldn't have happened. Guy should never have been here. Not only should her killer not have been released into our country in the first place, but he was released a second time after being arrested in New York City. Here today is a great gentleman, the police officer who arrested that illegal alien, only to watch him be set free to kill. I mean, he was arrested and they let him go free. They knew he was trouble, big trouble. Many of them are like that. They release him knowing it's going to kill again, but they released him and set him free to kill Laken. So I'd like to have Ethan Carreri come up, please. He's a great, highly respected police officer, and you can explain what happened. Come on up. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here today, and it's an honor to be speaking with you guys. My name is Ethan Carreri. I'm a police officer in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a former New York City police officer. While serving the New York City Police Department, I personally arrested Jose Ibarra for endangering the welfare of a child. A few months later, I saw his face again in the news after he viciously murdered Laken Riley. I did my job. I put him in custody. The system failed. No detainer, no accountability, no deportation, and an innocent American life was taken. If you enter our country illegally, there will be consequences under this administration. The American citizens must always come first. To Laken Riley's family, your loss should have never happened. We owe it to you and every American family to enforce our laws, secure our border, and protect innocent lives. Mr. President, thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much. I notice you left New York to come to Florida. It's in a way it's too bad, right? But you couldn't take it anymore. They don't let you do your job. But thank you very much, Ethan. Great, highly respected person. I have to do a little checking before I introduce people, otherwise I get in trouble. Sometimes I introduce people and they say, "Sir, did you know this or that?" But you checked out very, very well. Wow. Stories like Laken's are one more reason why my administration will do everything in our power to end the scourge of sanctuary cities once and for all. They protect criminals. Why do people fight? They protect criminals with a vengeance. They fight for these criminals like murderers. They're protecting murderers. They fight for them so hard. There's something wrong with them. We're joined today by so many angel families who are grieving a terrible loss. They've gone through hell. Steve Ronnebeck was the father of 21-year-old Grant Ronnebeck, a beautiful guy, who was shot and murdered by an illegal alien while he was working behind the counter of a convenience store in Arizona. He was working behind the counter. Steve, would you please come forward? We'll talk about your boy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you. You know, I spent some time with President Trump in his first election. President Trump talked about Grant even before he was elected in 2016. And finally, we had hope. We had hope that it was going to end. I was just talking to Secretary Noem that we all sat around the table one day during one of our visits to Washington. And again, the word preventable came up. All these deaths at the hands of illegal immigrants are preventable. They could have been stopped. We could have done so much more, unfortunately, at the hands of an election that we question. Somebody took their foot off the brakes and put their foot on the accelerator to let these people into our country. And it wasn't just regular people. It was criminals. It was murderers, killers, rapists. And now today, we are finally going to see that somebody's going to remember all of our loved ones. They're going to remember the names, and they're going to remember what we've all been through. Thank you, Mr. President.
And think of it, I'm not talking politics, I'm just talking life. If that election, if it wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election by millions and millions of votes. A guy that never left his basement, it was all run by crooked people. COVID was a little bit of a shield. We had a lot of things going on. But it was rigged by millions of votes. We did great in that election. If that election wasn't rigged, every single one of the people in this room right now would not be here. You'd be home with your son, daughter, family. We had a strong border. You know, we solved it twice, Tom. We solved it in 2016. The border was bad. Nothing like it was this time. It was like beautiful compared to this time. This was legendary. In the history of the world, there's never been a border like this where millions of people poured in. At least 25 million people. And many of them were the wrong people. Many. You know, when countries fill up the caravans, they don't fill them up with their finest. I wouldn't. And I would do exactly what they did if the United States would be willing to take all of our criminals and people, or people that don't work. But they are smart people. I got to know most of those leaders. I know them. I said, what are you doing? They said, look, it was a totally open border. They saved hundreds of millions of dollars, and they gave it to us, and we've done a great job. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, our people, they've been incredible, the job they've done. And they take nothing but abuse, but, you know, they're sort of pretty hardened to that, I think, because they know they're doing the right thing. It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, we actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. I think it's well, that's how I won. I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election, too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig. But they cheated like hell. They can't win on policy. Men and women's sports. We have a new one, though. Voter ID. I think that's as crazy as they won't approve voter ID. They won't approve proof of citizenship. They won't approve no mail-in ballots, even though they know it's crooked as hell. Where the ballots are sent to, in many cases, Democrats. Republicans don't get theirs, and they're calling frantically to get their ballot. A Democrat will get 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 ballots. And then we're supposed to win. That's what they're good at. They're professional cheaters. But we wouldn't be here right now. I'm just thinking as we're going through it, because we've suffered through it together. I suffer for the country. I mean, it's the people I've gotten to know, the mothers and fathers, mostly mothers and fathers. Husbands in some cases, wives in some cases, but mostly mothers and fathers, what they have to go through. Also with us is Marie Vega, the mother of Javier Vega Jr., a retired U.S. Marine and Border Patrol agent, so respected, who was murdered in front of his family by 2 illegal aliens, bad ones, really bad ones. People you could look at them and you could say, trouble. Trying to steal his family's trucks. He wanted to take everything the family had, but the trucks in particular. Marie, please come forward. Thank you, darling.
President Trump, on behalf of my family and I, thank you for hosting this beautiful remembrance in honor of our loved ones who were killed by illegal aliens. As you said, August the 3rd, 2014, my husband Javier, my son, Marine and Border Patrol agent Javier Harvey Vega, his wife, 2 of his sons and a friend, and I were fishing in Santa Monica, Texas. Within minutes of settling in, we were ambushed by 2 illegal aliens with many priors. Without warning, they jumped out of their stolen vehicle with guns that were not supposed to be in their possession in an attempt to steal 2 four-wheel drive vehicles. While trying to defend us, Harvey was shot in the chest and killed. My husband, Javier Sr., was shot in the back. Remember, you all, children were there fishing with their friends, and they just kept shooting. You could hear the bullets just whizzing past you. Javier Sr. returned fire with this weapon, and I grabbed the AR that Harvey had attempted to defend us with, and I returned fire as well. Had we not fired back, they would have killed everyone there, including the children, so that there wouldn't be any witnesses. And they killed an amazing man, a loving and honorable dad and husband. Thank God we have you in office. Without you, America and the world would not know the consequences of open borders. Thank you for restoring law and order. Thank you for acknowledging us, the angel families. Every day I think of you and the heavy weight of a nation that you carry with you. I can't imagine what it must be like to wake up every morning, work so diligently amid attacks and resistance from the left, to deal with the craziness, the fraud, and the swamp. But you get it done day in and day out, all while finding solutions to making America great again. You absolutely amaze me. Please know that we see it, and we, the masses, your constituents, are behind you 100%. When you were elected the first time, for the first term as president, I remember saying to my boss, this is exactly what this country needed, a businessman. You did an outstanding job then, and although you were cheated out of the second term, by the way, you won that election as well, and we know it. I knew the third term was going to be epic, and here we are, mega. Before I end this, I have to share a sweet story with you about my daddy. He absolutely hated the way people treated you and attacked you. On your third run for office, he said to me, "Mijita," which means my little daughter in Spanish, "can you check to see if I'm up to date and still registered to vote? We need to make sure President Trump gets into office." I said, "Of course, Daddy." And I did, and I checked, and he was registered to vote. We lost a great man, April the 3rd of 2025, and that would be my daddy. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for backing Border Patrol and ICE and backing these families. Thank you so much. I love you.
So beautiful. You know, I was thinking as you were saying that running again for a third time after having gone through what we went through the second time, which was so horrible, so much cheating, so much deception and viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more powerful term than my second term would be. And much more powerful. And one of the reasons is everybody sees how bad they were. And I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. I mean, I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough, you know, when you get a fake poll. I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close. But you go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, you know, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to. And now they compare it to Biden and that horrible, horrible administration. And I mean it, it is more powerful. Our military is much more powerful. We rebuilt it mostly in the first term. Then they gave away a chunk of it. And as much as it was, it's very small relatively, Tom. But we gave it to the Taliban. Just walked out. We could have taken it with us. They said, oh, I think it's cheaper to leave the planes. Just put a little jet fuel and fly it to a neighbor or fly it right home. Sir, I think it's cheaper. I think we'll save money by leaving a $150 million jet on the runway. These people are crazy. But I said, and I've said to a lot of people, it's much better what happened. But not for you people, it's not. And then I go back and say, but I wish it didn't, because every one of your loved ones would be alive today. Everyone in this room, I think. Maybe there's one where it could have sneaked through during our term, but I don't think so. We had a very tough border. We solved it in 2016, and we had a very strong border. I would say nothing is as strong as what we have now, but we had a very strong border. We had a good border. We had a sane border. It was sane. And I say, I like this much better. Much more respect. You read about all these crazy shooters, but they only go after consequential presidents. They don't go after non-consequential presidents, If you take a look, Abraham Lincoln, some big one. John Kennedy, in a certain way, was very consequential. He represented something very important. He was there for 1,000 days, as you know, the book, 1,000 days, but he was consequential. There was a glamour, there was something good for our country, right? But they consequential, and I was told that. I saw that the other day. They said they only go after consequential. So maybe I want to be a little bit less consequential. Can we hold it back a little bit, please, Tom? Can we just, nice and easy? Let's be a normal president for a little while. Because we had the greatest first term, I think, of any president in history. A lot of people have said that. Even radical left people have said that. And so it's, but the one problem is that, and every time I say it, I go back to the one thing. I said, but we wouldn't have had 25 million people allowed to come into our country, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And those are the people that destroyed your lives. They destroyed your lives. They wouldn't be there. So I always say I like it better, but there's one thing I don't like better, and that's what they did. Because I think that's the single biggest problem. He gave us inflation, highest inflation we've ever had. I solved that. Right now, inflation's at a very low number. How about gasoline? I was in Iowa, $1.85 a gallon. I solved that. I did a great job with that. Prices are coming way down, and I'll get them down further. But, Christ, no matter. By the way, if I came up with a cure for cancer, they would say, he should have done it years ago. There's not a thing I can do where these people are going to give me credit, and that's okay because we won in a landslide, so the people understand. People understand. But the one thing that I regret about the election and the process, because it's a much bigger, more important, you look at what we're doing throughout the world, we're respected like we've never been before. But the one thing that I can't do anything about is that he allowed 25 million people, many of these murderers, drug lords, criminals, people from mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions, Tom, is that right? All over the world, not just in South America. They emptied their jails, many of them from all over the world. Why? Why would we do this? And they walk in, nobody even asks for, do you have an identification? Do you have an ID? It's so crazy. The mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now, and I heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell? You're not going to help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? No, right behind you, look, my friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay? Good. Good. Are your eyes okay? I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay. And when do you go? Well, you get them done. It's an operation, but it's 100%. You know, it's great. Good. You're going to have 20/20 vision. She's almost blind, cataracts. She's almost blind. And with one operation, that will take a very short period of time. Hope you have a good doctor. He's an expensive doctor, top of the line, right? But you know what? You're going to have 20/20 vision because I noticed you're wearing glasses. I saw you yesterday on television wearing glasses, and I said, well, but anyway. But, you know, speaking of your family, it would be a lot different right now, except for the election. So I always say, it's too bad that happened. And if I had it to do again, it's despite the tremendous job we're doing now, I wish it could have been the other way because we wouldn't even be having this meeting right now. There'd be nobody. I wouldn't have gotten to know you, but it's gotten to know you under very bad circumstances, right? The worst circumstances. So one of those things. But the thing I can't understand is why the press isn't more supportive. They're so dishonest. The stories, the polls, they poll you, they say, oh, the angel moms. I think the angel moms are the finest people I've met. I mean, the angel moms and families and dads, but these are unbelievable people. Why are they so angry with angel moms? They had their child killed. Stories that are so horrible I'm not going to mention. A couple of people are in the room. What they did with the child after they murdered the child. It's not even, and these people are actually on the side of the criminal. I don't get it, Tom. Someday you're going to explain it to me, but I don't think you can either. It's crazy. Laura Wilkerson is another American mom whose 18-year-old son, Joshua was horribly beaten, tortured, and murdered by an illegal alien who went totally crazy and just went to school. And I'd like to ask Laura to come up and say a few words about Joshua. Please. Hi. Another one of my friends. One of my original friends, right?
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Laura Wilkerson, and I want to thank everybody for their help in gathering us here, the American Border Story and the White House and all of your helpers. I thank you for that. I met a man about 11 years ago who was running for office, and he sat with us a couple of days, and he watched as the tears rolled down my face as I told him the story of how our youngest son, Joshua, was brutally beaten, tortured, strangled to death, and his body set on fire. The man next to me was President Trump. He never, ever looked away from my pain. He looked me straight in the eye, and he said, I will never forget the story of your sweet son, and I will never give up fighting for the American family. I looked at him and I believed him. And here we are these years later, and you can tell all of the work he's done. He's never missed a day of fighting for the American family. I don't know if I've ever met a man who is more interested in this country and running this country and getting it back in shape. And I'm so grateful for what he does every single day. I can't even pretend to understand the spiritual battles that swirl around the office of the presidency and the man who owns that office. I would ask that God breathe a fresh breath of air through this administration so that he can calm those spiritual battles and allow our president to continue to do the hard work. Jesus works on my family every day, still healing us today. And I am just so incredibly grateful for the man who's in office, who never quits. He is sidelined so many times, but we know the man, Jesus, who can take care of that. And we pray today in his name that he will sweep through this country and make it right again. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, I just want to thank you. That's amazing. The words are so beautiful, so beautiful. I get introduced often, and I'm getting introduced by people. In many cases, they hate me. And they don't give me nice introductions like that. But all we're doing is the right thing. It's sort of simple, right? It's sort of simple, and but not simple for you. And that's when I was running, actually. That was before I won. I didn't know if I was going to win or not. I was running against 17 politicians. You knew. But no, I never forgot that. Jody Jones is a loving brother whose cherished sibling Rocky was killed by an illegal alien real monster, who went on a deranged crime spree after being released from prison as part of a California sanctuary city policy. Jody, please come up. Thank you.
Well, I have this speech, but I'm not going to give it. What I'm going to tell you is from my heart. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first of all, before I do anything. I want to thank the American Border Story, and I absolutely want to thank President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir, for putting America first and putting these angel families first and letting everybody know their stories, because we matter. Thank you, sir. My brother Rocky Jones was murdered by a criminal illegal alien. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. This man was arrested, released, and within 24 hours, he went on a shooting spree in Central California. Unfortunately, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This man shot my brother 8 times at point-blank range. I pray that no other family has to go through that. Unfortunately, they will. And just know, President Trump, I want you to know, no matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time, because we love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma Cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. And I love that lady. I don't even know her. I just heard her. I just got the fire inside of me. I'm like, wow, that's an American. I love America. I want you guys to understand this. Americans are not racist. We're not xenophobic because we want a safe America and we want to put Americans first. This man's not racist because he wants to put Americans first. Are you kidding me? I know you guys hear it all the time, but we are not. And I'm going to tell you something. I love America. I love Donald Trump. I love my family, and by gosh, I love America. Thank you very much, Donald Trump. President Trump, you are the man. You are the man. I want to say this. I'm going to end here. I want to say this. I love my country. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump, and God bless America.
Thank you very much. It's incredible. I want to now introduce somebody that I get to know pretty well. We just had a little discussion. Wonderful mothers, Patty Morin, who lost her beautiful daughter Rachel, and Tammy Nobles, who lost her daughter Kayla. Your daughters would be unbelievably proud, and they are as they look down. I'm sure they're looking down. And they'd be very proud of you, and they're thanking you right now for your courage. You've gone through a lot. Know you. And I just have to recognize some of the families. I mean, the families that are here this morning, I know many of them, not all of them. And you know, it grows at a pretty strong level, nothing like it was in the past. You remember when, during the campaign, Biden would say, and then I guess Kamala, it's the same thing, same ideology, same level of intelligence, I think. But she would say, and he would say, no, it's wonderful to have the people come into our country. These are fine people, these are nice people, and they don't commit crime. And I called Tom home and I said, what's the story on that? Because I think they're really violent. And Tom would say, these are the most violent people in the world. They're coming in. These make I remember you said, these make our criminals look like choir boys. And you know what? You were right. You were right. But I want to thank those two people because what they went through. And I want to recognize all of the families here this morning who have lost loved ones, a lot of families. Thousands are not here. And they're feeling just the way you do, sad. And continue to fight. You know, they say time helps, but I've seen some people and the time isn't not helping that much. Time, they say it heals all wounds, but it's not. Do you feel better now or the same? You know, you got to feel a little bit better. You got to let it, but it's not like the phrase, wonderful phrase, time heals, like everything's going to... Excuse me? Yeah, I know. We'll continue to fight, though, and we'll stop this horrible situation, and we have stopped a lot of it. A big thing, you know, you saw that murders are down for the most in 125 years. This before my father was born in 1905. 5 years before my father was born. My father was great. But... So in 1900, 125 years, the murders, the lowest rate. You know why? Because I closed the borders, and we got a lot of people out. It's not just closing, we got a lot of people out. Washington, D.C. is now a safe place. We don't want to close the borders with them in here. We got a lot of them out, and we got many of the worst ones out. We go for them first. But I want to conclude by reading part of a letter I received earlier this year from two heartbroken grandparents who will never again see their 8-year-old granddaughter after an illegal alien ran her over with his truck purposely. They wrote to me, we are hurting so badly and now know that the hurting in our family will never go away. It never, ever will go away. We're not seeking notoriety. We don't care about press coverage, but we do want our girl to be remembered. We want people to actually know how preventable this murder was. And lastly, we want the American government to be accountable to its citizens. True, they should be accountable for what they did. That's my administration, and I will tell you, fighting, and we're fighting so hard. All of them, everybody together is fighting. We're putting American citizens first. We're defending American lives. And we're fighting for every angel family. Angel families are beautiful families. They're beautiful families. That was my first, early on when we first met, that was my first, I didn't know about angel families, you know. I never did this before, right? I was building buildings and things. But I said, I can't believe it. My first meeting, they were so angry at the press, at a mom who lost her daughter so violently, right? You might have been there. The first meeting, I said, this is strange. What's going on? It was anger from the fake news. But the angel families, I realized very early on, I never changed. I could see how you'd change, though. You know, you have to go through this stuff. But never changed. I thought they were among the greatest people I've ever met. I've met the heads of countries. A lot of them aren't so nice, but, you know, they do have some power. And we've done very well with all of those people. But among the finest people I've ever met are the people in this room and many people outside of this room. I know many, many more than just in the room. But we restored our border, and that's now totally secure, and our country is at the safest level it's been in many, many years. How could anyone possibly say we want open borders, knowing, especially, let's say you did that because you're foolish or stupid or something, and you did it, but after a couple of weeks, you're going to know that the people coming here, if you're running a country, you want to send your bad people out. That was the way I looked at it. I didn't know anything about it. I ran for office, but I have a lot of sense. And I said, well, open borders is no good because if I'm running the country nearby or far away, I had no idea how far away. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from all over, not just South America. Congo let vast numbers, hundreds and hundreds, and probably thousands of people out of jail. They brought them through Mexico and they dropped them into our country. But you would say that common sense, well, and I said it right from almost the first day. I said, how could you have an open border? All the countries are going to be dropping their prisoners into us, and that's exactly what happened, and mental patients and others. So we have a country that's now doing well. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have the most activity we've ever had. I'm making a speech tomorrow night, and you'll be hearing me say that. I mean, it's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about. But Americans like Lakin and Grant and Javier, Joshua, Rocky, Rachel, Kayla, these are great people, and we're never going to forget them. I'll never forget them. I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? Huh? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them. And I just think you're among the most brave people. I meet a lot of brave people. I meet warriors. I give out congressional medals of honor where people recommend, like these two in front of me who are so wonderful, but they recommend, and I meet the greatest people. But this is a group of people that for whatever reason I just feel maybe the warmest about. So at least you have one friend, and we don't understand why you don't have many, and maybe you will. I don't know. So I'm going to go sign the proclamation, and then we're going to sit in the audience. I'm going to sit with you for the reading of the victims' names, and I'll then depart to a song sung by our incredible, talented military, Amazing Grace. Okay? Sound good? Now, we could have some of the families come up, some of the people come up. You know who you are, and come on, you can stand around me. I don't use an auto pen, so you can watch me actually sign it. Okay. We'll do this the right way. Do you have... I want to give coins to the family, okay? Could I?
I had one for you, and I couldn't bring anything inside.
I know, Secret Service. Well, you'll get it to me.
Say hi to Trump, Emma.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, sweetheart.
Little Emma.
Oh, hi, Emma.
Little Kayla.
Very good, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready, Emma? We're going to sign this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You take care of yourself. You can hold that. At least for a little while before.
I'm not taking it.
Thank you. So let's do this candle lighting, and it's very beautiful. Please.
My daughter's my birthday.
Thank you very much.
I can't tell you how much I love
Take care
you.
of yourself. Okay?
It's
This is Vince. This is Tyler.
Yes, sir.
We will now light a candle in honor of the victims and in solidarity with their families. Following the lighting of the candle, the names of the victims will be read aloud so that their memory may be honored.
Katie Abraham, Chad Eistrup, Austin Babcock, Megan Elizabeth Ida Boz, Jesse Bird, Liam Cantu, Michael Clayton, Gail Clayton, Sander Cohen, Piers Corcoran, Ronald De Silva, Jackson Davis, Christopher James De Leon, Joseph Di Tommaso, Marshall Dova, Brady English, Shaylee Estes, Lacey Marie Ferguson, Maura Garrity, Tristan Gray, Kayla Hamilton, Aaron Joshua Hampton, Brady Heiling, Susan Hine, Haley Helgeson, Kyler Holbein, Gregory Hamala, Gabriel Kaleshi Isiguzo Jr., Rocky Paul Jones, Shane Jones, Stephanie Kaufman, Haley King, Amy Courtlang, Ryan White, Brian Moss, Robert Mopin, Lisbeth Medina, Brandon Mendoza, Brandon Michael, Dominic Montoya, Jonathan Moody Jr., Ruben Morfin, Rachel Morin, Krisha Odette, Nikolay Osokin, Rocco Pitro, Lakin Riley, Grant Ronnebeck, Matthew Russell, Kayla Santiago, Danielle Nikki Shermock, Fred Schlosser, Tiara Stansberry, Kate Steinley, Joseph Story, Timmy Tarnowski, Brian Terry, Anya Varfolomeyev, Javier Vega Jr., Joshua Aaron Wilkerson, Carlos Wolf, Joseph Zhang Jr.
I
Very sad but solemn ceremony remembering those lives lost to criminal illegal aliens and those family members left behind. And I hope that you join me in prayer for their souls and for the people, again, who have empty chairs at dinners, holidays, and festive gatherings as their loved ones look down upon us from heaven. Support us right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, rsbnetwork.com/donate, or text RSBN to 801-801. Don't miss a minute of the action with all America First updates by visiting rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. There you will find how to like, share, and subscribe to all of your favorite streaming sources, in addition to reading the great publications of the very talented writers at this broadcast network, diving deep into the issues that matter most to you, inside and outside of the Beltway, whether it's the federal city, all the way to Bend, Oregon, down to Little Rock, Arkansas, and all the way up there to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, just about everywhere in between, as the wintry weather and that mix hitting the nation's capital, and especially that nor'easter out in the Northeast. So be very careful. 40 inches expected in total, 3 inches per hour approximately in the Garden State of New Jersey. For all of my colleagues here on the right side of history, be sure to tune in tomorrow for State of the Union coverage. We are anticipating an 8 p.m. Eastern start in the prime time. The president always expected at that 9 o'clock hour, a few minutes slightly after, as we will hear Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States, ceremonially introduced by the House Sergeant at Arms in a joint session of Congress and the gathering of the federal government, all three articles from the legislative, executive, judicial, and perhaps those special guests, the United States men's hockey team, as they won gold just yesterday, 46 years after the miracle on ice. So much to celebrate in this golden era. For all of my colleagues here on the right side of history, thank you for tuning in today. I'm Robert McNeely. We'll see you again tomorrow, and have a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you again very soon.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can scan that QR code now, RSBN10. That is the code, easy to remember, for 10% off. This is ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, antibiotics that will save you and yours from bacterial and viral infections, NAD+, and much, much more. 200 essential medications and emergency medical kits, the meds you trust delivered to your door.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.